Thanks for joining us on this edition of National Focus. I'm Jarna Hector. Coming up, Honorable Gloria Shillingford asserts that government has been good to Wesley. Dominica advances its cybercrime prevention strategy and will bring you more responses to the 2014-2015 national budget. Stay tuned for details of these and other stories after this.
Did you know the Caribbean Court of Justice is two courts in one? The CCJ has two functions: an original jurisdiction, which deals with your right to move between CARICOM countries freely and your right to move your money and your business. This is the basis of the CARICOM Single Market and Economy, CSME, and the revised Treaty of Chaguaramas, and an appellate jurisdiction to hear appeals from courts of those countries which decide to use it as their final court of appeal and no longer go to the Privy Council. All CARICOM member states who have signed the agreement establishing the CCJ are members of the CCJ.
Thank you for staying with us. Honorable Prime Minister Roosevelt Skerrit has confirmed that the rehabilitation and enhancement of the city of Roseau and the town of Portsmouth will commence during the 2014-2015 fiscal year. The Dominica leader explained to Parliament in his budget presentation last Wednesday that the projects will result in the upgrade and expansion of the infrastructure to attract new investment. Work is expected to commence on the road aspect of the project, focusing on roads in the vicinity of the Dame Eugenia Charles Boulevard.
This initiative will build on earlier interventions, such as the Roseau Road Improvement Project, which included the construction of the Santa Roma Back Road, the Link Road, and the construction of the Bath Road Bridge. The latter, along with the Hanover Street Bridge, has enhanced the flow of traffic and entry into and exit from the city. The first phase of the Roseau Enhancement Project includes rehabilitation of all the streets to include subsurface drainage, road pavement structure, sidewalk, utility dock banks, and streetlights. The components also include the following: 1. The design of sites for permanent parking facilities and a new bus station on the periphery of Roseau. 2. Construction of a new bridge to replace the West Bridge. 3. Provision for improved traffic flow at Pottersville. 4. Construction of a bypass road for the Botanic Gardens. And 5. Construction of a cruise ship and ferry terminal.
In Portsmouth, efforts will be made to improve the town's appearance, beautify public spaces, and increase access and exits.
Madam Speaker, the town of Portsmouth will also receive attention to improve its appearance, beautify public spaces, and increase access and exit. Among the improvements targeted for Portsmouth are: 1. Rehabilitation of the streets within the town. 2. The construction of a new link road from Glanville to 1 Mile. 3. A bypass from Purple Turtle to the Cabrits. 4. The construction of a new bus station. And 5. The erection of a new administrative building to house government and other offices. Other projects that are planned under this program are a state-of-the-art indoor sporting facility to be located at Stock Farm, a petroleum transiting facility, and the setting up of the infrastructure for the bulk export of water in Portsmouth. Madam Speaker, the enhancement of Roseau and Portsmouth must go beyond the interventions I have highlighted. The value of the planned investments will be diluted if we do not pay greater attention to cleanliness by avoiding littering on the streets, sidewalks, and gutters. In that same vein, the owners of vehicles with sound systems are reminded to keep the volumes at levels that are not deemed a public health nuisance.
Meantime, Parliamentary Representative for the Portsmouth Constituency, Honorable Ian Douglas, says the proposed development will complement infrastructural work already underway in the northern town.
First of all, we worked on the main street, the base street. We did all the sidewalks. We completely resurfaced the base street of the town, Mr. Speaker, and lifted the ambience and the aesthetics of the town. Most of the commercial places, the restaurants, the stores, all of those places exist along Bay Street. And so we are moving on right now, and I'll tell you more about that as I go along, to refurbish and rehabilitate Harbour Lane and Rodney Street, Mr. Speaker.
Castle Bruce Parliamentary Representative Honorable Johnson Drago has outlined several projects designed for the safety of his constituents and undertaken by the Labour Party government. Honorable Drago first noted that more than $250,000 have been spent on the sanitation component of the Housing Revolution program. He listed about a dozen infrastructural upgrade projects initiated within the past 4 years for the safety of his constituents. Honorable Drago announced that his constituents' safety is of utmost priority.
We saw the construction of the Bayside Bridge in Gurup. At one of the disasters, the people in that area were totally cut off. We had to move as a matter of urgency, and we constructed a bridge for the people in Gurup. Prince River culvert stabilization. We saw the culvert in that area was seriously compromised by heavy rain, and we had to do some major works, almost $200,000 spent in that area. The Sansove retaining wall, another area in Sansove where the river took half of the road in a long section. We had to build a retaining wall that cost thousands of dollars as well. Brong culvert stabilization. That's an area called Brong just above Sansove, where again we were about to lose the entire road network in that area. We had to move in quickly and stabilize, replace all broken culverts, and did some major work in that area. Sansove bridge stabilization. Over $250,000 had to be spent after we had heavy rains and we were about to lose the entire bridge network in Sansove. We spent over $250 setting up that area. Mopo concrete road pavement. This area was very waterlogged and we could do nothing with it using the asphalt concrete. We had to transform that section of the road using concrete and with wire mesh and so on in that area. Fomble returning wall. Another area in the Fomble area in Pilisufwe where we were going to lose the road, entire road network, and we had to move quickly and build a major wall in that area.
Honorable Drago also listed the Castle Bruce Fomble Bridge and the Fomble Culvert retaining wall, among others.
Excavation of Cochrane to Larry Sikri Road in Gurup. Today, Mr. Speaker, in Gurup you can drive right around Gurup. We broke the neck of that area where all we are remaining to do now is to do the proper pavement and culverting of that area. But vehicles can now pass there in case of emergency. Castle Bruce River dredging. You may recall that one of the years I spoke of the number of animals we lost when the entire Castle Bruce flat was flooded by heavy rain. We had to spend over $250,000 in the Castle Bruce River doing a dredging project there. Monduku Castle Bruce culvert replacement and retaining wall. Another section of the road we were losing again because of heavy rains and so on, and we had to quickly move in. Good Hope major mudslide and soil clearing of Baye and Savin Jack. When I came in as Bar Rep, one of the things that I was faced with is that we could lose half of the community if we did not tackle the mudslide and waterlogged area we had over the community. And I went into high gear and we spent over $200,000 just clearing this area.
According to Honorable Drago, $4.4 million have been secured for the completion of the Petit Soufriere-Rosalie Link Road. A lighting project was completed in that constituency, illuminating from Deepa to Petit Soufriere. Honorable Drago assured his constituents that the motivation for these projects is for their safety in cases of natural disaster.
The list goes on and on and on and on. I am saying that to say, if I had to invest all of these monies that I mentioned into new roads and so on, oh, what a beautiful road network we would have in the entire community. But priority had to go to the safety of my people. And today, Good Hope, Sansove, Petit Soufriere, Brong, and Castle Bruce, they are safer areas. Of course, disaster will happen. We will have no control over it. And anything can happen in disasters. But we know that we have taken the right mechanism and mitigation measures to ensure the safety of our people. And our people are sleeping much safer because of all the work we have done throughout the constituency, which create jobs as well, part-time jobs for our people, Madam Speaker.
As the 2014-2015 budget debate continued on Friday, July 25th, members of Parliament recalled their constituencies' achievements throughout the past 4 years of the Labour Party administration. Honourable Parliamentary Representative for the St. Joseph constituency, Kelva Daru, relayed his efficiency in developmental initiatives within his constituency during this past term.
One of the first things that the constituency received was to have a branch of the fire and ambulance service placed in the community of St. Joseph. And this has served the community and the West Coast by extension very well. We saw a complete rehabilitation of the St. Joseph Health Center to the tune of $250,000. We responded in quick time. We provided assistance to the farmers who now have to take an alternate route to access the farms. We replaced the center portion of the York Valley Bridge to a tune of $250,000. We went into Layu and ensured that the women who were displaced, the fishermen who were displaced, they received assistance.
Honourable Daru also spoke of his success in the education sector of his constituency.
Every school in my constituency has received some form of assistance. We've seen a complete transformation of the Caleb John Laura Primary School, where we have spent in excess of $60,000 to have an early childhood center set up at that school, and a new kitchen as well installed, completely rehabilitated at the Caleb John Laura Primary School. The ITSS, the Isaiah Thomas Secondary School, over $60,000 was spent to have the school repainted and to improve the ambience so that students and teachers can have a better environment to learn. The St. Joseph Seventh Adventist School, we saw the repainting of that school. Computers be made available, Madam Speaker, to that school. And just recently, a donation was made to that school in excess of $13,000 to have brand new furniture at that school when the new school year commences in September.
Honourable Parliamentary Representative for the Paybush constituency, Matthew Walter, also enlightened the House on his constituency's developments.
Let me start with Benz. Resurfacing of the Simon Road, $10,113.60. Resurfacing of the entire road, including drainage, that is Lovers Lane in Benz, $18,346. In Ansley, construction of the road leading to the port, $30,000. In Ansley, again, rehabilitation of the bridge, $16,000. In Asalda, construction of the storm drain, $26,000. In Benz, commencement of the construction of the Benz Road, $120,000. In Quet Place, construction of road, $73,846. Benz again. Ansley Health Center, constructed under my friend stewardship, $200,000. That is the construction of the new building.
In more Parliament news, Parliamentary Representative for the Wesley Constituency, Honourable Gloria Shillingford, has affirmed that the Labour Party government has been very good to her constituents. Honourable Shillingford made the remark in response to the 2014-2015 national budget in the House of Parliament on Monday.
In no constituency you can get everything all of the time, but I think this government has been good to the Wesley constituency. Mr. Speaker, I met roads in total disrepair. The main road going up to Woodford Hill, ambulances were not even going there after a time. There was the road in Small Farm where persons had to take one shoe to go out to the main road and have especially school children, to have another pair of shoes to be able to go wherever it is. You know, so you have to walk one with one and then walk with the other. And the first thing we did was to ensure that that piece of road was done. solid as ever. After almost 9 years, it is still standing strong. And the same thing too with the main road in Wesley.
Honorable Shillingford, who will not run in the next general elections, made special mention of the evidence of a working government.
And let me say to the government that I thank the government for giving us a fair share of the pie. And I heard other colleagues saying that people say that nothing was done in the constituency. That is those who need to go to Cuba, because even though they go to Dominica, Dominica can do nothing for their eyes. And the thing about it is that even though people say words and the evidence is there, there is nothing you can do about it. When I met that constituency, it was a constituency that was neglected, totally neglected, with an absentee parliamentarian. The people knew nothing about what parliamentarians used to do. They only know about it with what I, the parliamentarian, Gloria Shillingford, did for the people of Wesley and Woodford. And so, Mr. Speaker, I did it with pride. I did it with love, a labor of love.
The minister listed 5 additional major roads and farm access roads, which she made priority during her tenure. This in addition to 30 students currently pursuing higher education overseas, as compared to 3 at the start of her term. Honorable Shillingford is especially proud of the 24 young people gainfully employed through the National Employment Program. The constituency representative pledged to her people that although she will demit office, she will never cease to be involved in the continued development of the Wesley constituency. Honorable Dr. Kenneth Daru also responded to the 2014-2015 budget estimate on Monday. The Fisheries Minister says that he can already envision the plans for a state-of-the-art marine facility in the community of Dubic. Honorable Dr. Daru voiced his support to the Finance Minister's $489.9 million budget when the House of Parliament resumed on Monday.
From where I live in Grande, I have a bird's eye view of that particular area, and every day I come on the porch and I envision this seawall and the roads in the Dubic area leading right into this marine facility, that the proposed marine facility in store. And I think that when these things are implemented, that we should see a major transformation, not of the physical landscape only, but economic landscape of the South and Southeast.
Close to $25,000 was allocated to that ministry, according to the budget presented by the Honorable Prime Minister Roosevelt Skerrit last week. In other news, Representative for the Organization of American States, Dennis Moses, has described Dominica as an exception in the Caribbean in its momentum to improve cybercrime resilience. This he expressed at the start of the 3-day cybercrime training workshop by the Ministry of Information, Telecommunications and Constituency Empowerment.
This event has 2 main thrusts. The first seeks to assist Dominica in the drafting of a national cybersecurity strategy. In this regard, Dominica is in a small group of countries pioneering sustainable, pragmatic, and well-designed cybersecurity policy. Only 37 countries globally have such strategies, with only one of these, Trinidad and Tobago, representing the Caribbean region. Dominica is and can be a model for other small island states, which continue to experience difficulties mitigating persistent cyber security vulnerabilities.
The workshop primarily focused on forensics, strategy development, and establishment of a National Computer Incident Response Team, CERT, and serves as a follow-up to a Cybercrime National Needs Assessment, which took place in April. According to Permanent Secretary in the Ministry of Information, Telecommunications and Constituency Empowerment, Davis Leta, the current workshop will look into addressing matters of cybercrime as Dominica advances in this technological era.
While we have started the work, we recognize the need to develop capacity on island in order that the process can be advanced and that Dominica can remain on the cutting edge in terms of policies and strategies to deal with growing challenges of cybercrime in our modern society. For this reason, we have brought to you today the best that the world has to offer in this area.
The Honorable Acting Prime Minister and Minister for Information and Telecommunications, Ambrose George, addressed the workshop, noting that cyber criminals pose a dangerous threat to the socio-economic development of the country.
These cyber criminals can literally have our way of life come to an abrupt end or hanging off on the figurative edge of and I quote, cyber precipice of economic disaster, unquote, by triggering off one simple act of economic espionage on their part, or by the simple click of a mouse by an unsuspecting employee or an innocent 5-year-old student in preschool playing with a computer keypad, or by activating a data file in our email, or by simply having an innocuous discussion with a supposedly friendly customer.
The Honorable Minister reiterated government's commitment to supporting cybercrime prevention efforts.
Having understood the potential socio-economic disaster which such initiatives can have on a small island developing state like Dominica, where cybercriminals may use them as a staging ground to not only attack the host nation, but declare war on other countries, the government of Dominica has taken the initiative to enact cybersecurity legislation as a first step towards combating this growing economic threat.
The workshop is jointly facilitated by experts from the Organization of American States through its Cybercrime Unit, the Inter-American Committee Against Terrorism, and the Commonwealth Telecommunications Organization, who have pledged support to Dominica in its endeavors. The workshop was hosted in collaboration with the Ministry of National Security, Immigration and Labor, and the Establishment Personnel and Training Department. In more news, families and friends hailing from Grand Bay were all reunited in the streets of Lale on Friday 25th when the community officially opened its 2014 reunion celebrations with a grand parade. The village is celebrating its reunion under the theme, recognizing our past, embracing our future as one people. Encouraging community members to stay true to the theme, the Honorable Parliamentary Representative for Grand Bay, Justina Charles, gave a brief account of the Geneva Uprising, an event which defines the village of Grand Bay up to this day.
Let us look back 40 years from today. 40 years ago, we knew we could not have been standing here because the land where we stand did not belong to us. It belonged to one landowner. And so this year we will celebrate the achievements and all of what has come with that revolution. And so there is a lot for us to celebrate as Granberrians. We need to recognize the past, but in order to move to the future, we need to look at where we are as a people. Where we stand now, how much development, how much progress has happened to reach where we are now, so that this can help us to chart the course for future development. And so as we go through the week of activity, as we meet in various forums, these are the things that we will be looking at so that we can all work together to continue the development of this beautiful, loving community.
Honorable Ambrose George, who was representing the Honorable Prime Minister Roosevelt Skerrit, wished Granberrians a successful reunion and called on individuals to help play their part in the development of their community.
The visiting Dominicans, the visiting Granberrians, that after you would have participated in the reunion, that you will have very joyous moments when you return to share with the rest of your family and friends at your respective homes overseas. So, again, I want to commend the sponsors who have come forward to ensure that the reunion is taking place and that you have a successful 2014 reunion.
According to Chairman of the Grand Bay Village Council, Llewellyn Richards, one way in which members can develop their community is by giving back financially. Richards proposed the committee's plans for facilitating this through a GED fund.
What I refer to, my friends, as to the Grand Bay Emergency/Development Fund, or JEDF, or referred to as the JED Fund. And it is a new initiative which will enable us to undertake many social, infrastructural, educational, and other programs without depending solely on government's resources. And all that will be required of us is to make a small monthly contribution.
Richards informed that he will present this plan in detail at the community's Economic Development Panel discussion carried for Tuesday, July 29, 2014. And that's the English news. McPherson St. Luce is next with the Creole highlights.
Alors tout le monde, bienvenue à ces nouvelles en créole. Non moins, c'est McPherson St. Luce. Premièrement, Premier ministre Honorable Roosevelt Skerritt a confirmé réhabilitation et puis achievement, avancement, ville Roseau et puis Gontans, ça qui prend place l'année financière cela. Honorable Skerritt fait parole en parlement qui s'est projet cela qu'a expecté pour résultat investissement neuf pour ces villes cela. Travail chimé pour ville Roseau qui commençait tout près d'Eugene Charles Boulevard. Travail pour Gontans qui avancé l'occasion publique et puis chimé pour entrer et puis quitter ville là. Quand même, si l'homme même parlement pour Gontans Honorable Ian Douglas, il a fait parole qui travaille là, qui complémenté ça qui a pris place là à présent. En la nouvelle, un workshop pour faire et puis cybercrime, ça c'est monde qui a servi technologie, ça fait ordinateur pour détruire business et puis ça fait d'autres monde. Ça a pris place en Dominique pour 3 jours, semaine cela. Plusieurs monde et puis compagnie qui engagé en affaires information qui attendait. Ministère Telecoms Honorable Ambrose George a adressé cérémonie pour te ouvrir workshop là bon matin là.
Nous menons facilitator CTO, ComSec, CTU avec ces monde ça qui facilité workshop là pour dire nous en practical manière, en theoretical manière, ça cybercrime, comment nous ça développer en stratégie, en policy pour défendre le pays contre cybercrime. Cybercrime c'est un crime qui est dangereux. Il s'est tué en gouvernement, il s'est tué en banque, en business sector. Monde qui travaille en privé parce que il y a monde qui fait ça en travail where you can rentrer dans système et you can faire manière pour détruire système et pour taper information dans système et faire ça vous voulez faire avec information ça. So nous qui est à tous ces stakeholders nous c'est monde là qui provide service, telecom service, Lime, Digicel, SAT, nous menons FIU, FSU, ces banques là, NTRC, Dominica State College. So tous ces gens qui participent à workshop là pour 2-3 jours. Avec nous après ça, nous avons nos recommandations sur le gouvernement qui garde, le cabinet qui garde, et nous voir comment nous avancer avec la situation associée au cybercrime.
En la nouvelle, mon l'occasion business supposé point responsabilité Zodiz qui a sorti en l'occasion ailleurs. Parole celle-là sorti votre officier relations publiques, management Solid Waste Dominique Jeno Jacob.
Solid Waste Management Act là qui c'est loi qui gouverne Solid Waste. Il a dit que mon business, pour faire business, ou responsabilité, c'est ça pour disposer à mener les en landfill là, pas envoyer en wavin, en paroi, mon comme ça pour mettre un côté bas, mais ou ça acheter un monde privé, un private hauler, ou même ça mener en landfill là où vient en landfill là, on peut payer un type une fille, ou là sur un skill, on ça, avec personne qui nous payer à voiture, avec ça doit les avoir voiture. Et puis, occuper un petit l'argent, 5 sous, 5 cents, 1 kilo. Ça, c'est l'argent. Et puis, là où venir là, mais pour responsabilité, on a dit c'est ça, c'est business là. Si vous qui est Solid Waste pour faire service là-bas, nous
demander l'argent pour faire ça parce que c'est un service nous avons. Mais vraiment, nous devons savoir que la responsabilité, c'est eux qui produisent les eaux, c'est eux-mêmes qui ne peuvent faire ce que les autres arrivent à nous là.
Finalement, ça fait qu'à concerner théâtre, ça fait une contribution pour le développement. Parole ça là sorti au nom théâtre Olwin Bowling. Pour lui faire parole ça là aux lignes d'attention qui a mis à ce théâtre pour célébration Literary Festival l'année là.
Ça c'est une manière où montrer monde ça qui a fait à la terre. Il a dit théâtre c'est considéré c'est un miroir. Vous regardez à d'ailleurs vous voir corps. Chaque fois qu'on record, chaque fois qu'on play, chaque fois qu'on apprend en bagage qui vous pas savent et puis en même temps on peut taper en joie. Il can entertain, il can dire théâtre, il montrer monde, il can teach, et puis en même temps il can entertain, il can faire des bagages en même temps. C'est pour qu'il est tellement populaire. Tout le monde aime voir movies, tout le monde aime voir bagages à ce stage là. On can mélanger monde qui can parler, puis monde qui can chanter, danser, musique, ni tout différents formats de costumes, tout différents bagages comme ça. Ça, c'est un bagage qui est bien populaire et puis ça fait un bon living, ça devient professionnel. Si vous vivez dans un gros pays comme United States, Angleterre, Europe, etc. Et si c'est pas tellement facile pour faire ça, pour faire un living sur ça, mais si vous bon, vous travaillez dans tous les différents pays, c'est pas en Dominique. Comme ça, nous voulons comprendre ça et puis choisir ça comme carrière. Et puis, si vous voyez ça en manière où vous voyez un monde qui fait bien, professionnel, eh bien, ça va encourager.
Messieurs, mesdames, ça c'est tout pour nouvelle en créole pour à présent. Au moins, c'est McPherson Luce. Au revoir.
Coming up next, why apple cider vinegar is an option for alleviating skin problems.
Did you know the Caribbean Court of Justice is 2 courts in 1? The CCJ has 2 functions, an original jurisdiction, which deals with your right to move between CARICOM countries freely and your right to move your money and your business. This is the basis of the CARICOM Single Market and Economy, CSME, and the revised Treaty of Chaguaramas, and an appellate jurisdiction to hear appeals from courts of those countries which decide to use it as their final court of appeal and no longer go to the Privy Council. All CARICOM member states who have signed the agreement establishing the CCJ are members of the CCJ.
Apple cider vinegar can be used as a topical astringent for acne-prone skin, and some even report that taking it orally every day has helped clear their skin. Add a cup of apple cider vinegar and a cup of Epsom salts to a hot bath to draw toxins out through the skin and help jumpstart the cleansing process. This can also help relieve joint pain as well as skin conditions like eczema and acne. And that's all for this edition of National Focus. We always welcome your suggestions and comments. Drop us an email at gis@dominica.gov.dm or visit our website news.gov.dm. Like our Facebook page, facebook.com/GIS News Dominica. You can also catch up on past National Focus newscasts on our GIS Dominica YouTube channel. On behalf of the GIS News production team, thanks for watching and join us again next time on National Focus.